Good morning, team. I wanted to do a just quick video. I'm gonna try to keep it under 5 minutes as best as I can. I try not to ramble as I'm doing right now. Good morning. I wanted to just kind of go real quick. These are the futures, the E-mini, so the S&P futures. I wanted to kind of show you real quick because we have a nice about 200 plus point up move on the Nasdaq and about 55 to 60 point move on the S&P. But I want you to look at I don't want you to get too excited and too emotional on this. My thought process here is we are in a downtrend, and this is a rally within a downtrend. So, if even if we go up to, like, let's say 3815, 3800 somewhere up here, we're going to be running into the 21 moving average. Here's the daily. We're going to we're going to be getting up to 21. So this is going to offer major resistance. We've been riding down the 8, and we finally yesterday kind of cut to it, and then today we kind of getting above it a little bit. So to me, this is a short squeeze. That new money coming in to the market. This is a business of probabilities. So the probabilities of this doing this to kind of come up a little bit and then continue lower are higher. So you position yourself according to your probabilities. I have my trend lines here. So if we break these trend lines and then we reverse and we kind of hover around this area and we go higher, and then the thesis changes. But for now, you take what's in front of you. Let me look at the at a lower time frame. So, like, this right here is the 39 minute. Let me just put it 30 minutes. So it's kind of almost the same thing. So what I'm looking at here is we've been riding. See how the moving averages stack nicely to the downside. So you short here, and then when they start getting wiggly here, that's when the momentum. That's when you get the reversal. And then once they start shooting up and they get above, back above the 8, which is the purple one here. See how it kind of starts going up, right? And the price is going above the 8, and you get above the previous resistance here, you will be like, let's say, a buyer here, shakes you out, and then you take off. So now we've been riding that 8 since, like, the beginning of yesterday, right? This is the overnight session. This is the day. That's yesterday, Monday. This will be today, Tuesday. These are the futures, okay? So the futures trade almost 23 hours a day. So this right here, to me, tells me we're getting exhausted. 2 reasons why. The momentum it's kind of shifting down. I'm getting red sell signals on the breakout, and we're getting exhausted here. So there's a stronger possibility we go back to the mean being the 21. So we could easily drop down 30, 40, 50 points, even a little bit lower, and still be within this nice uptrend. So don't get too overly enthusiastic about going long here at the beginning of the day, because the probability of a little pullback from these current levels are a little bit higher than from right here, right now, just boom, continue to go higher. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. And then the other thing I'm kind of looking at here is, this is something else I look at here. This is the same chart, ES, the 30 minute, okay? Same kind of concept. We've been riding up that 8 moving average. Now, other indicators I'm looking at, this is the MACD. I'm looking at this right here. Right here, we had the MACD crossover to the downside. So the last time we had this MACD crossover to the downside, we had this. We went sideways for a little bit, and then we continued higher. So when we had the MACD crossover to the upside, let's say we had the MACD crossover to the downside right here, boom. MACD crossover to the upside, boom. Then we're up here, we're a little bit overextended. See how, like, we're kind of on the overextended side, and then we kind of went flat for a while. So this is accumulation, distribution, accumulation, sideways, distribution. So this right here was when it crossed over, and since then we haven't gone higher. So again, probabilities, guys. We could definitely go higher from here. But so yes, that's why you have rules, you have disciplines, you have stops, and if you're short, you get out. That's why it's called short squeezes, because people are wrong, and then boom, they gotta cover. But you trade probabilities. This is a game of probabilities. You do the same thing with a probability of 70 or 80%, and you do it 1,000 times, you will be profitable. The 20% that it goes against you, you have rules in place to get out at a small 3, 5, at the most 7, 8% loss, and you're making, 7, 8, 9, 12, 15% gains on your winners. You do that for the rest of your career, you will be profitable. So right here, right now, at this moment, it's 9:15 a.m. on a Tuesday, the probabilities that we go to 3,800 or we go to 3,700, I'll put my money to 3,700. First, we can go to 38, but I'm thinking we go down first before we go higher. Why? Because of what I'm seeing here. Not my thought, not my guess or anything like that. And the other thing also is here, this is a momentum forecast indicator that I also have. When you have this little dots here, the green dots down here, I don't know if you guys see them, and this little red dots up here, these dots mean a cluster. I have it cleaned up. This indicator has a short term, medium term, and long term. This is the medium term indicator. The short term and the long term, I have it hidden, so I don't have a lot of noise on the chart. So, but when you have these dots here, that means you have a cluster. That means all three moving averages are oversold. Okay, so when you have this cluster, all three are the oversold. So this is green for buy, this is red for sell. So when you have this green and you have a trigger, the trigger is when the intermediate moving averages crosses over back up to the upside from the oversold to normal, you have a trigger here, and boom, we go up. So this is the oversold. So we've been overbought because I've been trending higher. We're extended, but again, extended means we can continue to be extended. It doesn't mean anything. It's only when you have a trigger. So here, and now I'm getting a cluster. This is the 30 minutes, so the short-term time frame. This is a 30 minute. So I have a cluster here where all three moving averages, the short, medium, and long-term moving averages are all clustering in the overbought category, and we have a downward momentum. So where's the trigger? The trigger is when we cross down here, when we cross this line, then this should either go sideways or lower. Again, I don't have a trigger yet, but I'm anticipating this because this is moving down. When you have this cluster of all three, just a matter of time where we move up to the other side, the counter trend. So we have a cluster here, so just a matter of time when we move downwards this way. So again, I'm currently short. If we go to, I have short the 38 and the 3,900 on the SPX. Okay, so same concept. We don't have a cluster here on the SPX because it's not open yet. The market opens at 9:30, but we had this little cluster back here. We went higher here, boom. We sold off back in. We have another little cluster here, and this one actually did take, and boom, we took off. That was yesterday. So now I'm getting a little downward shift here. It's like I got a little downward shift here, and then boom, we went lower, right? So this is a little bit more extended. I'm getting this little downward shift here. When the market opens, this should go higher because this is closed right now. We haven't opened yet 9:30. This is the cash market, not the futures. So we should be able to kind of go a little bit even higher, even get more extended, and then we should probably get up to this level right here, which is the next level of. Let me open up a little bit here. This is the next level of resistance that I have marked here around 37.50 around there. So that should be a level where it'll be interesting if we kind of maintain the 37.60, 37.70, 37.80, that kind of thing. And then the longer time period moving average will come in. So this should be an area where it might cluster. That's why I have alerts here. We might cluster here to then go lower, and then we have a signal here. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Okay, I want to give you a little heads up of what I'm looking at. Again, if you have longs, I'm not saying to get rid of all your longs and go short. I'm just giving you a perspective of what I'm looking at based on technical analysis, probabilities. We could rip higher and go to 4,000. I don't know that, and I would trade accordingly. But from the probability scenario, I see us, not going much further than the 38 or even lower level here on the SPX once the market opens. Right now, like I said, we're not open yet. The futures are kind of hovering right here, so my trigger for the short will be right here. Let me look at a little bit longer time frame. Let's say the 1 hour. The 1 hour scenario. See, we kind of like we still kind of, you know, this cluster right here also. Let's say it triggered right here. This would have been a buy. So you hold this for a little bit and boom. Okay, now I don't have a cluster here, but I do have the momentum going down. I have the momentum indicator here falling off. We're rising in strength. We're kind of like tapering off. And then the MACD is about to cross to the downside. And the momentum in the MACD is kind of going lower here. When we cross to the top side here, same thing. Boom. So again, just look. I look for a top-down approach. I look at the daily, and then I go to a lower time frame to see, because obviously before the daily chart goes higher, you got to go higher on the 30-minute, and the 1 hour, and the 2 hour, and the 4 hour, and so forth, right? That makes sense. So let me look at the 4 hour. The 4 hour is just kind of coming up to a resistance level. So let's say we're at 39.40 right, 49 right now. Oh, we're right here. This is the futures. So see how we're hitting prior resistance? We kind of peaked above it and we came inside. So this will be an area of interest to me. This will be an area of interest to me right here. If we cross over, let's say 37.75, I want to be alerted. Why? Because on this time frame, the 4 hour, we've exhausted all this energy to get up here. This is a lot of energy to get here. So a little sideways action wouldn't be unforeseeable. So this is the peak right here. We got above the prior resistance. So I want this to be taken out to kind of like have this trend now become support. Right now, this line right here, this area 37.50 around there, that is still resistance. So this is still an area we need to clear, the 37.50. And obviously it's a kind of like a psychological number, 37.50, a round number. So this will be an area we need to clear to continue higher. Again, we have this positive crossover, but we have this kind of mingling event here. So it's not clean. It's not clean like it was down here. But again, we could be crossing over, but we're also coming up to a resistance level here. We're shooting up to the top side. We're shooting up here. So we might hover a little bit here in the 4 hour. Let the 30-minute come down a little bit like we saw earlier. Then the hour, then the 4 hour, and the daily will kind of follow to the downside. Okay, that's kind of what I'm looking at. Again, the daily, we're just kind of getting over. This is the prior support right here that we kind of hit our head 3 or 4 times here, and then eventually we cleared it. So now this becomes this was resistance, now becomes support. I'm in the daily now. This becomes support. I need to clear this right here. The 21 is coming down. So even if we go to like let's say 38.15, 38 something, we're gonna get to the 21, and that could be an area of resistance that we fall down again. But on the daily, we got some clustering here, and we can get a signal to the upside. But before we get that, the 30, the 4 hour, the 1 hour have to come down, do their thing, get out of this area, come back down to this area, and eventually, and then this will hover a little bit here, because this has been going down since all this right here. So it could be 9.5 to 10.3, almost a month, so 2 weeks. So this could be another week or so, which again, it coincides with what I was saying. The beginning of the month, we get the up, right? New money coming in, then we get the flush, then we kind of fall down, we hover a little bit to the 15th or so, mid month, and then we take off. So that's kind of I probably did this longer than 5 minutes, but I wanted to kind of go over more in depth some details of kind of what I'm looking at as far as technical analysis of how I position myself based on what I'm looking at the charts, and 100% based on probabilities, not on hearsay, not on news, not on my thought process, not on my biases, but what I'm looking at the chart and what I'm looking at price action. Okay, all right, guys. I hope this helps a little bit. And good trading today. Don't trade emotionally, trade logically, and trade from what the price action tells you.